While Julian Fellowes is best known for creating Downton Abbey, the hit show was predated by an even better period murder mystery with Gosford Park. Fellowes created the Downton Abbey franchise, which began with the series debuting in 2010. The show went on to become one of the most popular British costume dramas of all time and won multiple Emmys in its run. Its small-screen success was followed by 2 movies, as well as the third Downton Abbey movie on its way, which will conclude the franchise. Downton Abbey explores the lives and drama of the aristocratic Crawley family and their domestic servants in the early 1900s in England. It is subject matter that Fellowes already proved capable of handling, as he won an Oscar for his debut screenplay for Gosford Park. The brilliant murder mystery was directed by legendary filmmaker Robert Altman and starred the likes of Helen Mirren, Maggie Smith, Clive Owen, and many more. Despite being nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, Gosford Park remains a forgotten masterpiece that more people need to see, especially fans of Downton Abbey. Julian Fellowes' Gosford Park is one of the best period mystery movies of all time. The layered mystery holds up decades later. Gosford Park is a clever and completely satisfying murder mystery movie, but like the best movies in that genre, it is so much more than a whodunit. The period movie takes place in 1932 at a country estate of a wealthy aristocratic family, hosting a shooting party for a variety of guests. When a prominent figure in the household is killed, multiple suspects emerge with tensions brewing among the wealthy guests and the overlooked servants. However, Julian Fellowes and Robert Altman use the murder mystery to explore class dynamics. Throughout Gosford Park, the movie juxtaposes the lives of the wealthy people upstairs and the people who are at their beck and call downstairs. The movie explores the way these servants are disregarded, the way they are seen as property, as well as the way they are relied on so heavily by their employers. Meanwhile, the wealthy characters experience lives filled with money concerns, broken marriages, and scandal. These aspects of the movie only enrich the intriguing murder mystery aspect. When the body turns up, Gosford Park has already established viable motivations for a number of characters. However, with there only being one possible murderer, the other characters are still made to have rich and important arcs even when they are proven to be innocent. The answer to the mystery is satisfying and surprisingly emotional, but Gosford Park is the kind of movie you can watch over and over and still be entertained by, despite knowing who the murderer is. Gosford Park and Downton Abbey have plenty of connective tissue. Maggie Smith plays 2 very similar characters. Considering the premise of Gosford Park, it's easy for fans to draw connections between it and Downton Abbey. The British period drama gets a lot of its stories from that dynamic between the wealthy aristocrats and their servants. However, Gosford Park deals with that relationship in a much harsher way than Downton Abbey. The Crawley family in Downton Abbey is mostly depicted as good and caring people who treat their servants well. Gosford Park shows the degrading way these workers can be treated, or at best, not considered as fellow human beings. However, the connections go beyond the premise. Downton Abbey originally started as a spin-off of Gosford Park. Julian Fellowes was approached with the idea of writing a TV version of the movie that explored the lives of aristocrats and their servants. However, as the series was being developed, it was decided that it would be its own standalone story set decades earlier, despite sharing similar themes. Of course, one notable bit of casting further connected the 2 projects. Maggie Smith's Downton Abbey role as Violet Crawley, Dowager Countess of Grantham, is iconic and won her 3 Emmys over the course of the series. However, years earlier, she was nominated for an Oscar for her role as Constance, Dowager Countess of Trentham, in Gosford Park. Obviously, the roles are very similar, but reflect the different tones of the 2 projects. Both characters are blunt and hilarious older women, but Violet is much more independent and proud, while Constance is judgmental but vulnerable. Why Gosford Park isn't spoken about more in 2025? People are mistaking the brilliant murder mystery for a stuffy costume drama. When it was released in 2001, Gosford Park became a considerable hit. Along with its 7 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, it made nearly $90 million on a budget of around $20 million, via Box Office Mojo. Despite all the success, Gosford Park has become something of a forgotten gem all these years later. In many ways, instead of the popularity of Downton Abbey making Gosford Park more relevant again, it seemed to overshadow the movie. Downton Abbey is a more palatable take on this kind of story with more likable characters and a happier tone. Its soap opera storytelling also feeds into this type of British costume drama. By contrast, Gosford Park is almost a satire of those kinds of stories, looking at the unromantic reality of these worlds. Therefore, it may turn off those who are looking for something more similar to Downton Abbey, but also turn off those who aren't fans of costume dramas under the assumption that it is all Gosford Park is. Indeed, the surge in murder mystery movies in the wake of the success of the Knives Out movies and others, it would seem like Gosford Park would experience some sort of resurgence. However, the murder mystery aspects of the movie are not often discussed in regard to Gosford Park. It is like a hidden aspect of the movie that takes the viewers by surprise, but makes it something of a lost gem in the genre. However, for Downton Abbey fans and murder mystery fans alike, Gosford Park is just waiting to be rediscovered.